I'm going to share some of my past work history. I started with the autism population back in 2015. I was a life skills coach and a community mentor for adolescents. Between those two positions, as a life skills coach, I'd go to their home and help them with like ADL skills, creating a simple meal, bringing them grocery shopping, washing the dishes, cleaning up a little bit of a mess, all those kind of skills that they had on their goals. As a community mentor, we had a group of participants where we'd pick them up and we'd go have lunch, we do a fun activity, and they get to socialize and have their own little social circle of people while learning these skills and like personal boundaries and things like that. Then, my tacos are ready. I then found a position as a direct care worker at a transitioning home, which I thought was actually really beautiful opportunity. This was for a nonprofit organization, and they actually took care of males on the spectrum that actually lived their whole entire life in the foster care or DCF system. And once you transition you age out of services, the support and the resources are kind of like limited. So in this position, they actually had their own apartments, and we taught them ADL skills. We brought them to their appointments. We tried to explain how to handle their money, because, they're getting money from the state now and it's limited, and how to use their BT card and all these different things that are so important for them to be able to be successful in the day-to-day life. And I did that for about 4 years. And then I always held at least 2 to 3 jobs. I've always been that type of way. And then I found a position as an ABA therapist in an elementary school, and that's where I fell in love with the fields. The environment that I was able to be in and have as my baseline was probably the most ideal situation, and that's probably why I loved it so much, because it was set up and structured exactly how I feel like every school should be. We had our own little classroom, CBL classroom. We had a BCBA and a SPED teacher together running the class. All the students had a one-to-one, and it was just the format and the support and everything was just ideal. And then I learned you could do ABA in the home, so guess what I did? I got a part-time in the home as I was working full-time and still carrying over the part-time at the group home. So I'm the type of person, like I said, as soon as I'm interested in something, I need to know all avenues and educate myself and be exposed. So I learned that you can have services in a home. So like I said, I found a part-time job doing ABA in a home. And then I found out that you can do ABA in the clinic setting. So then I left the group home, and then I decided to do full-time in the school, and also work part-time in the home and in another company in the clinic. Eventually, I left the school because I really was passionate about the home services, and I loved the flexibility, but also the different type of environment and like what came with the home versus the school. So then I went full-time in the home, and I kept part-time in the clinic. And at this point, I started grad school, because as soon as I found out like what ABA was and like, how can I make more money? Because at that time I was getting paid $25 an hour or like $32. And I knew like that's the cap here in Connecticut, like what you could get paid as an RBT. And I knew eventually I'd want to become a mom, and I knew I found what I loved, and I was not satisfied with just getting paid $32 an hour for the rest of my life. So I'm like, how do I get more money? How do I go higher on the hierarchy? So I learned you had to go get your master's and become a BCBA. So that's exactly what I did. So as I was working full-time in the school and part-time in the clinic, I was also going full-time grad program. And then I eventually left the job that was the home services, and I went full-time with the clinic setting, because not only were they in the clinic, they were also in the schools, and they were also in the home. So I'm like, okay, let me work full-time for this company, because I get a taste and dabble of all 3 environments, and it was a happy medium. And then as I was a BCBA, I was running the autism clinic and also doing consulting on behalf of my boss. And I had my supervisees underneath me, and and then I had my daughter, 25 weeks, and that paused everything. And now I'm opening up my own practice, because I still want to make an impact and share all that I know and help guide and support and provide all the knowledge that I can to anyone that's open to listening, and really still make an impact with the community that I love, while still being a present parent for my daughter. So if this is something that you think is your passion and you could definitely see yourself going independent one day, and you want to be a mom, or maybe you are a parent and you know, like, oh my gosh, like once you become a mom, especially your first time being a parent, and you're, you know, it's a beautiful phase of life. And it's like, I don't ever want to miss any moment of my daughter, especially since she was in the hospital the first 4 months of her life. It's like, I want to always be present as much as I can and just give her as much love and attention, and not have to worry about being burnt out, and have the flexibility while still maintaining work-life balance and still making an impact to the community that I love.